Well, the thrill and the pleasure were all ours, and there's just so much behind the scenes. I know we wish we could share, but one funny little
that we can't.
You should all be grateful we kept coffee up here, because every day, about 10 of 6, we'd hear, no coffee, no newscast. Yep. But thank goodness there was always some coffee.
Jason continues that tradition.
He does, and it's so comforting.
Passed the cup along.
Honestly, the hearing of his passing it came as a shock.
Yeah.
Brief illness, but still this was very shocking, and we're thinking and praying for his family tonight. We do find a little bit of comfort knowing that he's with his beloved wife.
Yeah, no doubt. I think when we were, we talked on his progress, and he seemed to be making, getting a little better, but we saw him a few times after Jana had passed, and he came up and talked about the books he had written, and he was still jovial Bill, but you could tell that he was missing. I mean, she was his partner.
Yeah. He died of heartbreak.
Yeah. And that's what I said. It's the little, the only consolation is he's now back with Jana.
But you know what? It was great though, because we stayed in touch after she passed away, and he would text back and forth and say, "Hey, watched you tonight, buddy." And just he still watched.
He'd text during the show.
Oh yeah.
And he loved people. I mean, the man loved people. He loved his family. He loved us. He loved the community. And actually, just seeing some of the video of the St. Patrick's Day Parade. Oh, yeah. Remember the year that he was in the St. Patrick's Day Parade? He was so excited to not only hand out candy, but when the crowds would start yelling his name when he got up on the truck. And
remember he got up he jumped up on the back of the truck. We're like, what are you doing?
Unbelievable. And for those who don't know, during the station, his picture is the first thing you see when you walk into our building. We did that right after he retired, and that picture will stay there in perpetuity. So.
Oh, he is missed. If you had time, Bill had a story to tell you. Actually, if you didn't have time, Bill still had a story to tell you. But that was his gift. He was a storyteller, and whether it be behind the scenes or on air or supporting his veteran causes, he had a way with words.
And he was a talented musician.
That's
and
right.
as his desk mate, I was treated to the drum solos all the time. We
Co-anchored.
our favorite drummers.
This is what I would hear
during the news.
During the news, and I do it now.
We talked about music all the time. And you know what? When I first got here back in 1996, he welcomed me like I was part of the family.
Yep.
And that never, ever went away.
Yeah.
All the young people, all the new people starting out in this business, 20, 30 years younger than he was, always treated them with respect and shepherded them along the way to successful careers. We owe a lot of who we are to him.
Social media. Senator Schumer tweeted out today, such a sad loss. We saw Ryan Nobles, who worked on both sides, like you and I did, sports and news, worked well with them together, is going to miss him. It came as such a shock to all of us because Bill's always there.
Bill once said that television brings people together like no other medium, and now here he is bringing people together all over the country that have, started their careers at WKTV, and he's, once again bringing people together.
Still here.
Absolutely, and for 35, and he's an icon in the business too, not just in Mohawk Valley or Central New York. He came back here to take the 6 and 11 anchor job, and he had that job for 35 years. You won't see that replicated across the country anywhere, and it won't happen again in the future. And he was and we all took it for granted. By we, I mean the area, because he was always here. Good, bad, news, terrible news, joyous news. He was the one delivering it. And this is, we've been talking about this. We lost a couple other family members at the station here over the past few weeks. This is a calling, and Bill served that calling with unbelievable professionalism, and everyone out there allowed him into their homes every single night. So this is just as much of a loss for you out there, because he was part of the fabric of your lives growing up in whatever generation you're talking about. And when you do it for 35 years, you're talking about multiple generations that he that he impacted. And but he was. And I think he would be very proud of the words that have been said today by folks here, and you mentioned Senator Schumer and the thousands of viewers who have commented. But I think he would be embarrassed too, because he would always say, "I'm not the news. I give the news."
read the news.
But Bill was so much more than your anchor man. He was everybody's friend, and he was part of the family, and he was proud to do the job he says he was born to do.
Whenever I come up Smith Hill and walk into this studio at WKTV, it's game on.
I must insist that if you choose to be in the business of service, then service is what you should provide.
But I feel I'm doing what I was called to do. This is and always has been my purpose, to convey the news in a clear and unbiased form. I only expected to be here for 2 or 3 years. I had already worked in some bigger markets, but I did have an opportunity to come home. Something rang true about that, actually working for the one TV station above all that I really wanted to work at since I was a boy.
I said, well, let me put it to you this way. I'm doing what I wanted to do since I was a little boy. I'm doing it in my hometown. All my family live right around me, and I live among the greatest people in the entire country. Why do I want to go somewhere else?
I can honestly say what has kept me here are the wonderful people that work here. The caliber of people at WKTV is excellent. I've made many friends through the years, and I've come to understand what really quality news gathering is all about. And at the end of the day, I can go back down that same hill, knowing that I've done what I was made to do.